Minimalists don't have sentimental attachments to things. And that means just because someone gives you some glasses when you get married, doesn't mean you have to keep them forever. So because you're a minimalist, it doesn't mean you need to get rid of everything. We do have sentimental stuff. I just wanted to get rid of that box so that we can use that glass, and I'd rather use it 500 times and have it break than use it 4 times and like never see it because it's sitting in a box on the back of a shelf because it's just for special occasions. So now we have it in here and hopefully we're gonna use it a lot more. Thank you to my sister who gave it to us. If you guys enjoy this video and get some value, please like and subscribe. On with the video. Something that a lot of people do and is pretty normal is to save everything, right? You saved so much stuff. Everybody has basements and attics and closets that are just full of stuff. They don't know what it is. And I definitely have fallen into this trap, and there's lots of different reasons. Some of them would just be because someone gave you something, you feel bad about getting rid of it. Another one would be if you spent a lot of money on something, even if you never used it, whether that's clothes that still have the tag on it, or just things that you never really use that often, or you got a newer version of it and you just have it there. Getting rid of those can sometimes be hard because you're like, hey, I spent good money on this, you know, I want to make sure that I am able to get my use out of it and whatever. But a lot of times it's better just to let that go. And then I think the biggest one is just in case. It's this feeling of, if I get rid of this, I'm going to have a problem down the road. I don't know what that problem is, but I'm going to need this down the road. So just in case really doesn't happen all that often. So I think trying to change our mindset from I might need this down the road, this could be important down the road, this thing, to changing it to, if I need this down the road, I can go to a store and get it. It's probably not that big of an item. Or I don't need this third pair of whatever, and just in case this happens. Like, I think getting over the just in case is really just a huge thing. And if you start to declutter and go through your stuff, you'll see so much stuff that is, well, maybe the grandkids will need it, maybe the kids will need it, maybe my friend will need it, maybe I'll need it in 3 years. There's just so many things of the maybe I'll need this if X happens. But chances are, if it's been in a closet or a basement or whatever for years and you forgot that you had it until you saw it, you're not gonna need that. It's just something that your brain's trying to make sure that you hang on to stuff so that you feel more secure with your stuff around you. They're also not messy all day and then like power clean once a week or twice a week. I think it's more about trying to be clean all the time, and that's been something that's been hard for me. It's something I struggled with in the past, is like living in a really messy place, and now everything's a lot cleaner. I'm still working on it and getting better, but it's really nice to just have like the counters are pretty much always clear and the dishes are always done, because we don't let things pile up. And instead of letting things, you know, like pile up and have a day's worth of dishes to do at the end of the day, and we're, you know, dreading that, and then also you have to clean up the living room and, you know, clear off the table and stuff like that. Instead, what we're trying to do is after each meal you spend like a minute and put your stuff away, and after, you know, you get home you take a minute. So having like 5 or 10 1-minute sessions throughout the day to keep things clean, so that you're always in this calmer environment. You're never dreading having to do something at the end of the day. I think that's made a huge difference for me, like just mentally being more at peace and more comfortable in my own space, and not having to worry about, you know, things are always messy. Feel bad when random people just stop by. You have a friend stop by, you don't have to worry about, oh, sorry about my house, you know, like I haven't got a chance to clean yet. It's kind of like, oh, cool, you know, come chill out. Everything's, you know, clean. I don't know, it's just a lot easier. So I don't know why my voice cracked. That was embarrassing. So yeah, it actually does save you a lot of time in the long run. If everything's kind of a little over organized more than you would think, then that way you don't have to spend a Saturday cleaning the garage, or that Saturday cleaning the house, or, you know, things like that. We have to spend so much time. We have to spend hours and hours and half a day to catch up on stuff. It's a lot easier to just keep up and spend those a few minutes, a few times a day, and just keep everything as organized as possible. Or if you do want it organized, just try like a 5-minute or 10-minute, bam, see how much you can get done, and then try it again another time, so you're not spending so much time just cleaning and organizing. A lot of people seem to think about minimalism or even frugal living as in you're missing out on a bunch of things. Well, if you don't waste money all the time, or if you don't buy things all the time, then you're just a person, you know, who has no fun and sits at home reading all day and does absolutely nothing and looks at their white walls. And when in reality, if you're not tied up with your possessions and not insanely busy all the time because you have so much stuff going on, you're actually gonna be able to experience a lot more stuff, and you're gonna have the freedom to experience what you wanna experience and not like be kind of muddled with all this stuff going on at once and with all your stuff going on. So it really clears things out and allows you to experience a lot more. So even though you have that fear of letting go of things and missing out on stuff, there's not really anything you miss out on. And if there is something that you do want, you go ahead and get it. Like, it's not that big of a deal. So this is something that I think a lot of us do, and I've done myself, where you just say yes to too many things. You either commit yourself to something just because somebody asks you to, which it can be really hard to say no and have that few minutes of awkward conversation. But if you have that few minutes, as opposed to spending an hour having lunch with somebody that you just don't have time to have lunch with, or don't want to, or go to an event or coach something that you don't want to coach, or even for me, like I said yes to too many things when I tried to start a podcast, do this, do real estate investing, do my full-time job, and like I just had too many things going on. So if you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. So you just need to make sure that everything you're saying yes to is super, super important. That's exactly what you want to do, because when you are doing that, you're saying no to everything else in the world. So I'm trying to start now saying no to a lot more things, saying no to opportunity, which could turn into something, and saying no to people when they ask for stuff sometimes. Like not all the time, like still trying to be helpful, but you can't say yes to everything. You're gonna burn yourself out, and it's not gonna be good for anybody or yourself. So saying no to a lot of things can really free up time and spend that time doing other things, improving yourself or working on the stuff that you're passionate about. So practice saying no is a huge thing that has helped me out a lot. Minimalists also aren't afraid of missing out on things, and they don't try to keep up with everybody else around them. They don't try to keep up with the upgrades when their friend gets an iPhone 10 with a little talkie thingy and like the face recognition stuff, and they only have an iPhone 6. You don't have to have your value tied up in your phone. You don't have to have a cool phone to show your friends or even for yourself. It's a tool instead of something that you wrap up your identity with. And that can go with anything, right? It can go with not needing a big house, but instead having a small house with less stuff in it that's just easier to clean and it's cheaper. Or it could even be like a car, like if your friend gets a Tesla and you're like, wow, that's really cool. You don't need that yourself. You can enjoy somebody else having more than you without needing to try to keep up yourself, without trying to, keep up with the Joneses. So I think that's a really good thing that minimalists try to do, is not trying to keep up with everybody else, not comparing themselves to everybody else, but just trying to be the best version of them and doing what's right for them and not what society is telling us to do. All right, before you freak out on me, what I mean is they're not content staying where they are and not progressing themselves. So whether that's physical or mental, I think minimalists really try to focus on learning a lot and pushing themselves physically and trying to be a better person, and not just stopping, like once they get out of high school or college, not stopping learning, but trying to continue to get better by forming good habits and by working on themselves to make themselves a better person so they can be better for the people around them and help them more. And not just hanging on to stuff, but really trying to give back and improve other people's lives as well. So this is something that I've been focusing on a lot myself, is to try to be a better person so I can be better for the people around me by learning and reading like every single day, listening to a lot of stuff on Audible, like a book or two a week, like a lot of stuff. And really trying to make sure that I'm progressing. I'm not just stopping, because a lot of people, once they get out of high school or once they get out of college, it's not uncommon to never read a book again, like an actual book that will improve you, or maybe just one a year. But if you can read 12 books a year or 20 books a year, you're going to be so much further ahead than those other people. And I just think that's really, really important. Minimalism and financial independence is kind of both about looking at what everybody else is doing and saying, is that right for me? And just because I've been taught this way, just because everybody I know is living this way or spending this way or doing these habits, does that mean that's right for me? And kind of evaluating what normal people are doing and seeing if there's a better way to do that. So that's both with finances, with house hacking and travel hacking and car hacking, finding ways to live for free and travel for free and eat for a lot less, all the way to the way you have your lifestyle, the habits that you have, how you learn, how you continue to progress yourself when maybe your friends and those around you don't, and they look at you as kind of the weird person who has less stuff and lives in a different place than they do, and dresses differently and eats differently, but maybe that's what's right for you. So just because everybody is saying do something in a certain way doesn't mean that that is right for everybody. If you guys enjoyed this, consider dropping a like and subscribe if you want to see future stuff. Thank you to my sister and nephews who got me this and watch all my videos. Really appreciate the support. That's all I got. This isn't champagne. Champagne is disgusting. This is hard cider. Much, much better than champagne. It's gross.